How's it from South Africa? My name is Greg, and in the next 5 minutes, I'll show you what Google Apps Script is and how you can use it to automate your business and your life. So what exactly is Apps Script? Well, it's a fully featured runtime environment for JavaScript. It lives inside your Google account, and as a result, you can use secure APIs to connect to your Gmail, Drive, Calendar, Sheets, etc. But first, in order to use it, you'll need to find it. And like most things that involve code, the UX designers try to hide it from the masses. If you're already in a container, like a sheet for example, you can access the app script by clicking on Tools and Script Editor. In my opinion, though, the simplest way is just to open the URL script.google.com. Assuming that you're already logged into your Google Workspace account, you'll see this page. Here you get an overview of all the script projects in your account. This leads to an important concept that you should be aware of, though. There are two flavors of scripts: independent scripts and container-bound scripts. Container-bound scripts are bound to an object, like a Google Sheet or a Google Doc. Independent scripts live on their own. In this video, we'll build an independent script. So let's create a simple script that will monitor my Gmail account for emails that contain invoices. When such emails are found, we'll extract the attachment and save it on Google Drive. Step 1 is to create a new project. I'll give the project a useful name and also give the function a more logical name. Step 2 is to write our code. We'll be using two built-in classes that come with AppScript, the Gmail app class for working with emails and the Drive app class, which allows us to work with Drive. So let's first add a search string function or a search function from the Gmail app class. It simply takes a query string as input. And interestingly, this query string is exactly the same as a typical search string that you may use in the Gmail UI. So I'm actually just going to steal this one that I've got here. So in this case, I'm going to search for any mail that sits in my inbox that comes from paymentsnoreply@google.com, that has an attachment, and that's newer than 30 days. That will return a list of threads that match the search criteria. And then, of course, we're going to loop over those threads. So it's important to know, of course, that in Gmail, threads consist of messages. So we're going to loop over the threads, and for each thread, we're going to find the list of all messages inside the thread. Then, of course, we want to find the attachments. So then we need to loop through all the messages. And for each message, we'll find the list of attachments. Once we have the attachments, for each attachment, we'll then simply do our magic. The magic really just involves taking the attachment and saving it to Google Drive. To do that, we're going to use the Drive app class and write the file to Google Drive. In order to write the file, I'll just need to get the Drive ID or the folder ID that Drive assigns. So I just go into Drive, I grab the folder ID from this URL, and then I use it in my method to find folder by ID. Once I have the folder, I just write the file into the folder. Now lastly, I'm just going to add a last piece of code that's going to ensure that the messages don't get processed over and over again. So all I'm going to do is, after I've processed the file or after I've saved the attachment, I'm going to archive the thread. That ensures that that search string of mine won't find this particular message again when we search. As simple as that. And now we're done. Code is written. Next thing is to run our code just to test if it works. As a developer, you can simply run the code right here in the IDE by clicking the Run button. Let's test that out. Once I click it, and specifically the first time, Google will ask permissions to access my Gmail and my Drive. This is, of course, awesome because it means security is built right into the platform. And then the code runs. Let's just double check that the file was written out. Yep, there it is. Invoice written out. So that was cool to run the code like this, but of course in a production scenario, you'll want to run the code on a scheduler. Let's say, for example, you want to run it every 5 minutes. To do that, you simply go to Triggers, and then you can add various types of triggers. I'm just going to show you here how you would typically add a time-driven scheduler, so something that runs, for example, every 5 minutes. And that's about it. All sorted. Lastly, I just want to highlight that for a deeper dive, you can obviously explore the docs. They can be accessed by clicking on the question mark in the top right. There's a ton of useful tutorials and getting started guides, and additionally, the API reference docs are actually quite easy to use and access. That's it for now. Hope you enjoy the journey.